I'm scared that Tony Northrup threatens to now switch to Nikon, and it's kind of toxic, and I'll tell you why. Welcome to another episode of Frames TM. If you're new here, subscribe. If you're not new here, if you find yourself coming back to the channel a few times, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. Now, he praises the Nikon for three things, the Nikon cameras now for three things. First is autofocus, the firmware updates the Nikons are constantly getting, and third, the telephoto glass, especially the 600 f4, which they say is probably the best lens of the year. Well, I think it is really too little too late. Apparently, he has not been getting his ZF, and he placed his order way back in October, and I'm not surprised that he hasn't got his ZF. But he's the guy who hyped Nikon's demise for years. Okay, whether it's made up stories of financial doom or gloom, or the fiction that Nikon isn't innovating and instead playing the value game and just copying whatever Canon and Sony are making and then offering that cheap to the market. That's what he talked about, and he's made multiple videos on Nikon playing the value game. Well, if you look around, you'll see the Nikon is playing the value game, but with full quality and a tremendous amount of innovation. Okay, so and Chelsea often role plays as that moderate voice in the show saying, Nikon are not so bad, and I still love my D850. I'm worried that he's not talking about switching again. I'm worried. And I'm worried he's saying that. To me, it sounds like a threat that he says that he's going to switch to Nikon. Okay, it sounds like a threat to people who love camera and photography, people who love their Nikons, people who love their Sonys, and people who love their Canons. Look, this is not meant to be a negative video, but I have to say a few things that are the hard truths about, at least from my perspective. What I'm going to say, what I have said in this video, is what I genuinely feel. So. The husband switches to brand X, the wife switches to brand Y, and then they create this melodramatic, this fake fight between X and Y. But eventually, it's a Canon that always wins. And anyone with any amount of understanding of the camera ecosystems will realize that Canon has a worst lineup. Whether you talk about the lenses, whether you talk about the cameras, right now, there are two cameras, actually one camera that's good. The R6 Mark II is a really good camera. The R5 is a bit long in the tooth. Canon, they don't have a flagship. Their entry-level lenses are okay. They're not that interesting. They're not that gorgeous. They're okay. They're truly value lenses, whereas Nikon, Sony, Fuji over-deliver on the even Panasonic over-deliver on the entry-level 1.8, 1.4 lenses. Not so with Canon. Eventually, but Canon always wins in a Tony Northrup and a Chelsea Northrup show. Tony said that the R8 is the best value consumer camera in 2023. I don't agree. I don't see a best consumer camera. If there is any, it is in my hands. It is the Fuji XS20. This camera can do 6K. It's got stabilization. It's got weather sealing. It's got a fan that you can install on it. And it can just go on shooting video. Okay, it's got a nice viewfinder, it's got a nice grip, 26 megapixel, amazing picture quality. And I'm going to do a video on this very soon. And they have fantastic lenses with this Fuji. You can get lenses from Viltrox, you can get lenses from Sigma, you can get lenses from today Tamron as well, and of course the Fuji line of lenses, whether is the older generation lenses if you want to save some money, or the new generation lenses. There's so much to be had if you own a XS20, and I'm going to talk about that in a video pretty soon. R8, honestly, it is Z5 Mark II when it comes to full frame cameras. That is potentially the best consumer camera, and it's not out yet. And I urge Nikon to really be bullish about that camera and just push that camera out. The Z5 Mark II is, I'm going to be very happy the Z5 Mark II is actually comes with the kind of specs, the 24 megapixel sensor that I have heard being rumored about the Z6 too. I don't think the Z6 should come with the 24 megapixel. The Z5 Mark II makes a lot of sense. I mean the Z6 Mark III. Now, coming back to the main issue, the thing is, Tonys of the world, they want to break you. They want to break the normal enthusiast, the normal photographer. Maybe that's not what they set out to do, but that's how it feels. Okay, they just build in so much insecurity in you that, after a while, it's incredible. After a while, I start thinking there must be something wrong with whatever you own. They kind of, their narrative over a period of time, if you keep watching the channel for about 6 months or 8 months, you'll see they'll go under your skin and start damaging your perception. So they'll start damaging your perception of the camera that you have until you're, I'm using very strong words, yes, I know, until you're absolutely convinced that you need to buy another camera and you need to buy what they are using this season. You will feel there must be something missing from your work, what you can do with it, and what your camera can offer you. I can't handle it when at any point in time someone tells me or someone suggests to others that you need to spend more money or else you're not good enough. I just made a video on this. I used my almost 6-7 years old XT5 on a trip, and the kind of XT3 on a trip, and the kind of stuff I got out of it is simply brilliant. The XT3 currently is less than $1,000, and used you can probably get it for about $650 or $700 at a time when the likes of Tin House Photography teaches you to be, and definitely watch that channel, Tin House Photography. I'm going to put the link below. When he teaches the likes of us to be prudent, teaches you to be prudent, and reminds you that the economy is not great, so spend wisely. Because that's the time you're living in, and asks you to develop skills instead. Here's a couple of people who show off their lifestyle and somehow make it sound like it's normal to switch every season. By the way, I remember them looking down on Viltrox just a few months back. And today we can see just how good Viltrox lenses are. This is being, by the way, is being shot on the Viltrox 27 1.2 on a Fuji. And I'm going to again make a video on this, and I keep saying that I'm going to do these reviews, but not getting enough time. But I'm going to really tell you how good the Viltrox 75 and 27 mm lenses are. Let me explain the content model that I have observed about the Northrup channel. I have seen that fundamentally there is a scare mechanism. Okay, first of all, there is a doom and gloom stories on AI scare, and doom and gloom stories about photography business not doing well, and then mobile phone becoming omnipowerful and omnipresent and just making cameras irrelevant, and the photography business how are becoming irrelevant, and more and more photographers are struggling to earn money. I mean, you just hear all these negative stories, and then they have made a business out of that, right? So you have this feeling that there's a huge problem, and I need to find a way to fix these problems. Then comes those I'm switching system videos, and they are toxic. They make you feel that there must be something really wrong about a gear. Instead of teaching you how to get around that problem possibly, or get around that limitation of your current gear and allow yourself to express better. Instead of talking about that, they'll keep telling you how these are 5 ways your camera gear is today limited, and how the next gear is just potentially fantastic, and you're not good enough with what you have today. Makes you feel that there's something really wrong about what you have. And now that you have the anxiety attack, okay, a little bit of panic, coupled with the natural gas infection, that gear acquisition syndrome infection that we photographers and videographers typically already have, you're not the perfect prey. So scared, here's a way out for you, and you're already you're always itching and thinking you should spend money, because it's just exciting to spend money on, not to spend money, but to get the new gear. Now you're the perfect prey. Now comes Squarespace and KEH. You don't like your stuff, sell it on KEH. Go for something else. That's the model. No, man. I mean, I think it's all right if Tony stays with Canon. Maybe it's all right. I don't think he needs to push himself towards a brand that he has just blatantly lied about for years now. Blatantly lied about. And I don't think it's a coincidence that he's not getting his Nikons. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think I've spoken enough about this. This was not meant to be a negative video, but I had to say a few things that are hard, and take it from it what you will, but this is genuinely what I feel. Okay, and there are comments on my videos where I have used words like game changing, this, that. I'm just trying to show my enthusiasm. If you've seen, I'm never going to tell you that, this camera or that camera is absolutely trash. I have like, my XC4, I love that camera. I mean, but understand how limited an XC4 is. It is limited compared to an XS20. It is limited compared to an XT5 or a ZF or a Nikon, Z8 or A7 IV. All these cameras that I have, I mean, XC4 is a limited camera, but I love it. And watch the last video that I made on my trip to Kashmir, just a 8-minute long video, loads of images and videos. You'll see wonderful people singing, just going about their lives. I just took in so much from that trip, and just what helped me was a couple of Fuji cameras, old XE4 and the XT3. So amazing stuff. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go and go to let you think about it. Let me know what you think about this conversation. I think those switching videos are not genuine. I don't think anyone really switches, meaning that I'm no more with this brand and I'm with this new brand. I don't think that kind of switches happen, especially if you're a YouTuber. So the moment you say I'm switching, you're lying. You're lying to begin with. I don't think no one should say that and make this impression that suddenly the Canon 600 something or 500 something lens is not good enough, or the Sony telephoto lenses are not good enough. Yes, the Nikon could be slightly ahead because of. Is that a reason for someone to switch, sell off that $10,000 lens and switch? That's bullshit. Anyway, I'm going to see you soon, and wait for the next video.